Hey everybody, how's it going? I'm Paul, I'm with the Dicey review, and tonight we're going to be taking an in-depth look at Havenfall from Debecco Games. In Havenfall, players take on the role of survivors in the land of Edonia. Each player is going to start with a basic deck of 10 cards, and then throughout the game they're going to recruit heroes, gain powerful artifacts and spells, and then enlist the help of powerful city council members that will help them defeat all these minions and bosses and hopefully fight off an invading horde. And the player who does this most effectively will be crowned the champion and will win the game. So while playing Havenfall, I noticed a lot of things that I liked, and I wanted to point out a few of those things so that you might have a better idea of some of the strengths of the game. First and foremost for me, the thing that stood out was the theme. Every aspect of the theme of Havenfall harkens back to old school RPG console adventure games that I absolutely played the heck out of when I was a kid. There were so many cool thematic ties with the 8-bit art and just the way that the whole world is presented. There's a little paragraph of lore in the first page of the rule book, and it just gave me the feel of going through those old manuals and reading a little bit about the story before you jumped into this awesome hack and slash puzzly adventure. And there were really cool thematic ties as well. Like if you look at the board, there were all of these different places where you can place cards, but there were also names of little cities and villages and towers and things like that. And I like to imagine that all of the heroes that you place out on the board are these champions being sent forth by the city to, fight this invading horde off. So I absolutely loved the theme of Havenfall, and it really drew me in. And especially as I was playing, I really noticed myself kind of getting into it, just felt that connection to it. So that was the first thing that I really enjoyed about the game. So one of the other things that I really enjoy about Havenfall are the color play styles. So if you're anything like me, when you go to a table and you're playing a game, you usually kind of lean towards your favorite color, right? I always play green. My brother always plays yellow. The play styles in this game, there are different colored meeples and different colored cubes that have different abilities. So for instance, if you are playing the yellow player, if you're playing the yellow starting character, you will have a completely different strength than the other colors. Yellow is great at increasing their treasure count, buying cards early, which can be a big advantage early on and is less powerful later in the game. Green allows you to really cycle through your deck quickly, and that will allow you to fight more effectively. That will allow you to get the cards that you need, especially if you've culled your deck just a little bit. Red allows you to kind of use other players' cards and use those to your advantage. And then blue will allow you to gain free spells, which can be very powerful depending on, which ones you get and how you've built your engine. So I really enjoy the variety that the different colors give you in the game and the different play styles that those will open up. And it really makes you think about, what color do I want to play? It's not necessarily my favorite color. I just want to play the color that best fits my play style. And the other nice thing about that is that each of the cards that can be purchased to add to your deck will also have a different color that activates their specific ability, and the ability will kind of play along to that playstyle. So I really enjoy that aspect of the game quite a bit. One really cool thematic touch to Havenfall is a system that allows you to gain pixels. Now this is an 8-bit adventure game, as the art can clearly show, which is once again an awesome thematic touch. I really enjoy that. But one of the cool mechanics that ties into the theme well is that there are all these different cubes on the board that are labeled as pixels, right? So you have these little these wooden cubes, and when you defeat a boss, you gain a pixel. That boss breaks up, the animation scatters everywhere, and what's left is a pixel, kind of an essence of that boss in the boss or minion's color, right? So if you defeat a minion or a boss, you're going to gain a pixel that matches that minion's color or the boss's color. And these different pixels will allow you to activate specific types of abilities. And the thing that's really great about the pixels is that they will allow you to activate abilities on top of your normal actions, which is very powerful. But it also adds an extra layer of strategy to Havenfall that I really enjoy. Not only are you thinking about the types of cards that you want to buy, right? Because the cards will do a specific thing, and they have a specific type of an ability that can be activated based on their playstyle and their pixel color. But you're also thinking about what bosses and minions you're going to fight, right? Because if you defeat a certain boss, That boss will give you points based on its rank, and it will also give you a pixel, but you may really need a pixel of a specific color that matches a minion in play. So you might have to give up points to gain an engine building head start and things like that. So I really enjoy the pixels in this game and kind of how they add an extra layer and an extra depth to the strategy, and it really makes you think through how you want to build out your deck, and not only that, but how do you want to fight using your deck, and how do you want to engage in combat and engage in the fights on the board with the bosses and the minions. The pixels in this game are awesome. One other thing I love about Havenfall is the trash card action. One of the big annoyances for me, and I play a lot of deck building games, as you can see, I really enjoy my deck builders, Clank and Vikings Gone Wild and Legendary, and I have Legendary Encounters Predator over there, and a lot of the different deck building games that I've played, and Dominion and things like that. One of the big struggles that you have is culling your deck, or what people call culling your deck. And all that means, if you're going to cull your deck, is that means that you're getting rid of bad cards so you don't draw them again. And some games make it very difficult. Some games, you really kind of have to go around, and be really creative in how you work your strategy so that you can get rid of cards. And sometimes it ends up getting in the way of your overall strategy, where you're just focused on trying to get rid of your cards, and then you miss the engine building that you could be doing. So in previous games, I've really sometimes had a struggle with that. With Havenfall, it's just one of the 3 actions that you can take. On any turn, it's not like you have to draw a specific card. It's not like you have to have a specific monster come up that will allow you a special ability. You can just trash your cards. And you can trash as many cards as you have available pixels, which is amazing. Available pixels and cards in play, right? That's the only limitation. So potentially you could trash up to 6 cards if you wanted to, although that may not always be advised. But that really gives the power to the player to allow them to, straight off, right from the get-go, just say, okay, I don't need any more copper, I'm done. Or even late to mid-game, okay, I've bought every hero that I need to effectively defeat most minions and bosses. I don't need money anymore. I don't need treasure. I'm going to get rid of all my gold, all my silver. I'm going to trash them for possibly an ability with the assassin or something like that, but I'm getting rid of my cards. And I love the fact that Havenfall builds it right in as a core mechanic. You can just get rid of the cards that you're not using as a trash mechanic, and that makes it very powerful and very simple, and is really kind of a core critical component to many deck building games, and it's built right in. So I enjoyed that quite a bit as well. Variability and replay value are huge in games, especially if I'm going to go out and buy a game and I feel like I really want to get value from what's in the box. Sometimes a one-play game has its value, right? It has its merits. But at the end of the day, what I was noticing as I was playing Havenfall and reading about the rules and learning how to set things up and learning how all the characters work and the cards are set up, is that there are tons of combinations for hero sets that you can have out. The way that it works is you have to have sets of heroes on the board that can be purchased every game in rank 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, 3, right? So you have 6 total hero decks that you can buy from, and the only restriction is that you have to have a total of 2 of each pixel color throughout all the abilities on the hero decks that can be purchased. Other than that, you can mix and match however you want to. And what I'm finding is that that is going to create tons of variability in the setup and give you tons of replay value. And that's not an expansion. That's not something that's coming later. That's just built into the base box. There are all of these different heroes that you can combine and mix and match and create fun sets to play with. And the game, the rulebook gives you a recommended starting set to play with that we featured in the How to Play video. But at the end of the day, you can kind of play around and create some fun, different interactions that you might not always see. You can really create just some different situations depending on the heroes that you select to include in the game. You can include heroes that have a lot of kind of aggressive abilities, or you can include heroes that really focus on engine building and money. There's a lot of different choices that you can make. So I really enjoyed the hero sets, and especially appreciated the fact that all of that was built in as just part of the core game. They didn't just give you a basic set and then let you get the rest as an expansion later. They gave you quite a bit of variability and quite a few sets in the base box, and there's tons of depth to be explored in those different hero sets. I really enjoyed that. And the last thing I would like to highlight are the different game modes. So officially on the box, Havenfall is listed as a 2 to 4 player, every player for themselves game. It's a competitive deck building game where you're trying to be the champion, you're trying to be the winner in the game. But what's great is that there are multiple official game variants listed on the Debeco Games, the Havenfall website. One that I personally enjoy is the solo mode. There is a solo variant created on the Havenfall website where you can go and order a set of the solo event cards, the crystal cards that you play in the game. You can print off components that you need to make the game look better, and it has that for free, that you can just go and print off any components that you might need, and some of them you can purchase that are printed professionally. But the other thing that I really enjoy about the different game modes is that you can tell that they were developed and that they were thought out. This, the solo variant that we will be featuring on the channel later as I do a full playthrough of that, wasn't just an add-on. It was something that, incorporates a really cool set of mechanics, right? You have this moving track of monsters, and you have a timed mechanic where you have to defeat monsters before they get off the board, because if you don't, then they will start to flip over your heroes. They'll start to attack the different towns and make those heroes unavailable until you defeat a monster and save those heroes again and flip them back over. And there's a really great mechanic that's built in where you have multiple AI decks, and if you use the sword to go and grab something from your opponent, you get to grab from the AI deck, and depending on how many pixels you have in your total supply in your war room, you get better and better cards. You have access to more and more powerful cards from the AI decks that you can draw from. So there's this really well thought out solo variant. There's team gameplay that's included on the website as a variant there. There's a quicker, like a quick start mode where you get going a little bit faster, and you have access to an additional pixel from the start of the game. And all of these game variants are printed on the website and included just right there, access to everyone that you can go and check out. And this is after you've explored all of the gameplay in the base box, which is quite a bit of gameplay that you could have, whether it be playing teams, whether it be just playing the standard game setup, over and over again, and exploring all of the different sets and heroes that you can play with. But after that, you can go to the website and explore even more variants, and it's free. It's, once again, not an expansion that you have to pay for. These are just variants that you can go and access on the Havenfall website, and that's going to extend gameplay even more and create more and more interesting games. So I really enjoy when companies and designers focus on providing some really great quality content that's free as an additional kind of bonus to fans. I know one of my favorite game of all time is Imperial Settlers, and there was a completely free solo variant where there was a campaign mode introduced, absolutely free, by the designer Ignacy Trzewiczek, where he just introduced that. And I remember respecting that decision so much because it took time, it took effort. It was put up with some graphics and a little bit of new paint on the files that you could print. And I feel no different about the solo mode in Havenfall. I really respect that the designer was able to put that in the game and feature a cool solo mode, and think of more and more game modes that you can play just at your leisure anytime you want to, just to extend that replay value and the meat that you get in the base box. So I love that about Havenfall. All right, so who is Havenfall for? What type of player do I think would enjoy this game? Well, I'm going to go ahead and get the obvious one out of the way. If you enjoy deck builders, I think you might have a good time with Havenfall. If you like Dominion, if you like Clank, if you like the Legendary series, whether it be the encounters or just the standard, partially co-op, partially competitive Legendary series, I think you will really enjoy Havenfall. It's a really great deck building game. It has some interesting engine building mechanics on top of kind of a standard deck building mechanical system, but also it has some interesting bits like the trashing action and the ability to activate your cards again using pixels, separate from the actions that you're taking. That is all very satisfying and a really good deck building experience. And so if you're a fan of deck building games, I think you would really enjoy giving Havenfall a play. The other thing is, people who are drawn to the 8-bit nostalgia, people who enjoy those those classic arcade games and the RPG kind of hack and slash puzzle games that they used to play on maybe their Nintendo or their handheld systems early on in those days of PC and console gaming, I think that you would really be drawn to the Havenfall theme. It has a ton of great thematic tie-ins. Like I was talking about earlier, just the way that the locations have, these heroes that they're sending forth, and there's this cool 8-bit, void portal opening up where all these monsters are coming through, and all of the different cool visual elements that this wonderful pixel art brings out, and the great nostalgia that it evokes. Like, you're going to enjoy that if you're a fan of those types of games, and it's really going to make the gameplay step up to another level. I know that if you're just a fan of deck building, you're going to have a fun time with a lot of what this game has to offer, because it offers a lot of great deck building mechanics. But at the end of the day, if you're a fan of deck building and you also grew up like me and played tons of games on the NES and tons of games where you were going through dungeons and fighting monsters and just having that classic RPG hack and slash 8-bit adventure, it's going to just kick it to another level, because that thematic tie-in is wonderful and it was done really well, and I appreciate that about Havenfall. And the other thing that I noticed as I was playing is that my bread and butter as far as game tastes is I am a engine building, resource management, strategic Euro player. That's my jam. That's what I gravitate towards. So games released by Uwe Rosenberg and Stefan Feld and Alexander Pfister and Rudiger Dorn and things like that. Like I'm really drawn to those games as my primary focus. But what I found is that even though I am typically a fan of those types of games and I enjoy those the most, I was finding elements of the engine building, resource management, kind of puzzly engine building nature in that pixel system, where it really mattered the types of cards that I had in my deck. And I knew, statistically I'm going to draw this type of card pretty often because I've built my deck in this way, and I've trashed certain cards so that I'm pretty sure that I'm going to draw certain cards at least every turn or every other turn. And I need these pixels to activate this card in the most efficient way possible and combine with this card and do this really cool combo. So I was finding myself just really enjoying that aspect of it as well. And it was kind of activating my puzzly resource management Euro brain as I was playing this game that is just highly thematic and not a typical Euro style game in the sense of, some of the classic Euros that you play in the vein of Agricola and Catan and things like that, where you're used to these really very mechanical, drier games that are a great puzzle but don't have much theme. This one is dripping with theme. It has tons of really cool thematic elements to it, but it also provided some fun in that that puzzle aspect where you're really trying to figure out the most efficient way to do things. So I found myself being drawn to that as a big fan of Euro games as I'm playing this thematic deck builder. So even fans of, like I said, strategic engine building Euro games might find themselves enjoying the puzzly nature of how you build your deck. So I really think that there's some accessibility to the game and kind of some broad appeal that initially whenever I was reading about reading about the game and kind of reading through the rules, I thought it was going to be more of a thematic focus, but there's really quite a bit of fun puzzly engine building in this game as well that will also appeal to some of the classic Euro gamers, where you have I really enjoy these types of games that blend theme and mechanics really well, and this is one that does that with the pixel system and with the fun deck building and also with the really cool thematic tie-ins. All right, so how can you play Havenfall? Well, the easiest way to get your hands on Havenfall is to go to havenfall.com and purchase the game directly from Debeco Games. You can go to the store on the store tab on havenfall.com and purchase the game directly there. It's $47 to $52 US, depending on if you want to add a set of promo cards. There are 4 new leaders that would be included that you could select in lieu of the standard leaders in the game. The other way that you can play Havenfall is there is also a way to play it on Tabletop Simulator. So if you go to the Havenfall Board Game Geek page and go to the forum post listed, I think it has something about Tabletop Simulator, and we'll list the specific link to that post in the description below. But if you go to that post, you'll see the information on how to play the game on Tabletop Simulator. So if you want to play it a few times, try before you buy type situation, or if you want to play with your friends and see if it's something that you'll enjoy, if you see the how to play video and think, man, that looks like a lot of fun, I really think I might want to buy it, but I'd like to try it a few times first. That's a great way to do it, and you can do that right now. You can go and play the game and get some of your friends to log on to Tabletop Simulator and see if you enjoy the game. So those are the two ways that you can either get your hands on a physical copy or play the game in a digital version. And I would highly recommend that you check the game out. Like I said, I have been having a blast with the game. If you follow me on social media at all, I've posted about it quite a few times because it has a really great solo variant, and I've really just barely scratched the surface of all of the different sets and the different heroes that you can play with and purchase, and there's going to be a lot of different sets that I want to explore in the future. So this is a game that I will probably play for a long time to come and will stay in my collection. And if you are interested at all by some of the thoughts that I've put out there, and you think you want to go give it a try, please do. I think it might be worth your time. If you have any questions about how to play the game, or if you still have any questions about, what do you think about this, or what did you not enjoy, what did you enjoy, that type of thing, send me a question, comment below, or email me directly at thedicey@gmail.com. But I hope that this video was helpful. Just like our how to plays, I hope that it was very informative and that you found it useful. And once again, if you have any questions, please comment below or email us. But thank you so much for watching the video, and until next time, we'll see you at the table.